Okay, so this is just a continuation of Intro to Photoshop, and you should have your two layers, play and original, over here on the right hand side. I'd like you to click on the play layer and see this little plus sign down here that says create new layer. Click on it, so now you have an empty layer. We're going to double click on the word layer 1 and type third eye. Always label your layers. So now we're going to use the stamp tool. If you hit the letter S, you will notice you get the stamp tool over here. Underneath the stamp tool is the pattern stamp tool. We don't want that, but it exists. And so we've got the clone stamp tool is what we want. All right, so we want to do a couple of things. First of all, over here up on the top, we have a whole bunch of settings for the stamp tool. If you click on these brush settings, put your hardness down to 0. Okay, hardness is at 0. Then make sure mode is normal, opacity is 100, flow is 100. It's aligned, and switch from current layer to current and below. Very important, current and below, because it's going to sample from the layers down below. The play layer is what it's going to be sampling from. If you don't select that, it's going to do nothing, because the layer it's currently on is called third eye, and it is, well, blank. So it's going to be sampling blank right now. So it won't paint anything. All right, so let's zoom in so that you can see both the warped eye and the forehead. So I hit the letter Z, and I'm going to use the scrubby zoom and zoom on in. There we are. And hit S to get your stamp back. Whoops, I gotta quickly interject in here because I forgot to show you something. And it is that how to change the stamp tool size. Look to the letter P on your keyboard. Do you see that there are square brackets to the right of them? Okay, you have the left square bracket first, and then next to that, you have the right square bracket. Those change the size of your brush. See, I'm going the left square bracket to go small and the right square bracket to go large. You may have it so small that all you have is this. This guy right here is sort of looks like that. Okay, and don't worry about that. Just hit your right square bracket. Just keep, or you can even just hold it down and it gets big pretty fast. All right, and so I want you to get the brush to be about the same size as the iris right here. Same size as the eye, the color part of the eye. Good. Okay, now the stamp tool works in the way that first you have to say what it is that you wish to copy. You do that by holding down the Option key and clicking on the area you wish to copy. So hold down the Option key. See how it turns to a target? Click in the middle of the eye, right here, click. Good. Now, move back into the middle of the forehead, and you will see that it now is showing what it's going to be pasting, what it's going to be painting with. All right, so move into the middle of the forehead and click and move your mouse around. See this? See how it is now painting wherever the crosshairs are. I'm holding the mouse down, and see the crosshairs? See that? I'm going to go move the crosshairs around and get the whole eye. Awesome. That's perfect. Let go. Nice. Now, you notice that it painted on there. It painted onto the third eye layer. If I turn off the third eye layer, see, it undoes that right there. Matter of fact, if I turn off the play layer, you see, it does this right here. I'm going to keep the play layer turned off, turn off original, and all I'm left with is this upside down eye. Okay, turn them all back on. Excellent. All right. Now, so what we're going to do now is we are going to change the tool that we're using to the eraser tool. Hit the letter E for eraser tool. And your hardness needs to also be set to 0 in your brush settings. That's this guy right here. Okay, mode needs to be brush. Set your opacity to about 20% and your flow to about 40%. And then what you can do is any part that you didn't like, please make sure you are in the third eye layer. Click in the third eye layer. Okay, and then you can erase little bits of what you've done around the outside, around the edge, because the eraser tool that we've picked is a is not erasing a whole lot. So we just go back and forth and back and forth. If it's not doing anything at all, then put your opacity up to, jump up about another 10 or 20. There you go. You can see it's now starting to do that. You can erase. Now, when I am working on something and I'm blending it in, you notice I'm blending this in, right? You see that? Let me show you what I'm doing. See how I am blending in certain parts? You can see that it is erasing some and not erasing others because my eraser tool is set for just taking out little bits, small amounts, opacity of 49, okay, and my flow of 40 on there. So yeah, basically I'm blending in. When I blend in, I click little bits and I just go back and forth, just like you're using a little eraser right here. And you do that. You can get it so that it blends in really quite nice. Excellent. If you don't like what you've done, if you make a big mistake, let's say, for instance, you go right through the middle, right there like that. That's okay. Go into your history and back up to the point where you like it. Okay? All right. Like that. There you go. I'm going to close my history. Awesome. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I want to show you the healing brush. Okay? So we are going to we want actually to be working on the play layer. So click on the play layer. All right. So this is the layer that we are going to, we're going to touch up a little bit with the healing brush. So you need to find something that you want to heal on the skin. For me, I'm going to get rid of this freckle and these lines under here. Hit the letter J. J gives you the healing brush. There's a whole bunch of ones here. Excellent. So you can see that we have the spot healing brush, the healing brush tool, patch tool, content aware. So if you hold it down, select the spot healing brush tool. You want the spot healing brush tool. By the way, if you want to cycle through all these different things, you hold down the shift key and you hit the letter that is for the tool, like the letter J, and you'll notice that it cycles through all the different types of tools that are on there. If you want the shift key. All right, I'm back to the spot healing brush. Good. The spot healing brush just lets you go on in there, and it uses artificial intelligence to take a guess at what you want. All right, so I'm going to click on this freckle. Look at that. There it is. That little crow's foot. I'm going to let it do that. Okay. By the way, you can change the brush settings. You put the hardness down. I've got hardness at 11 right now. You can, all right. And don't forget that you can change the size of any brush by using those square brackets. So the left square bracket makes my brush go small. My right square bracket makes the brush go bigger. I'm going to get it right about there so I can fit into this line and make sure that I am on the play layer. Just make sure of that. And going along that line. Excellent. Did a nice job. Nice job. But clean up that freckle a little bit. there. So I'm going to hold down the space bar. It turns to a hand. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take the healing brush. I'm going to go right along this line. Watch this. And we're going right along the line. You give it a little bit of time, and there it is. Now you'll notice that it made a pretty good heel. As a matter of fact, it made it even better than the skin that was in there before. So that's actually caused a little bit of a difference. And so then I'm going to add in a bit there. There we go. So now I am chasing this red away and starting to look like I've got a bit of a skin condition there. Already had a bit of red, which was a bit of a skin condition. It was actually really hot in the lab when I took this photo, so there's a lot of heat rash going on. If I back up a bit, it's so-so. So one of the things that you can do is if you're working on an individual layer, you can change the opacity of what it is that you worked on. See right here? So now this is a really good example of the fact that we're just playing on this layer. So, I got the eye on there and everything like that. But if you're going to be doing touch-ups, it's not a bad idea just to do individual touch-ups on their own layer. So then you can grab the opacity and blend it in. See, the perfect blend would have been around 70%, right about there. Okay, so that's a good indicator. You want to do this right here. Okay. Now, excellent. All right, so I think the last thing, Command 0, just to, I better exit out of this by clicking here. Command 0. Let's just see that. That looks really quite super weird and disgusting. I like it. Now, here's our last thing. I want you to go make sure you're in Photoshop. Go Command S to save. Down on the bottom, it saves it right along here. And then see this red dot up in the top right corner? I want you to close this window. Now I've got actually my screencast is here, but what you will see in Lightroom is your picture has been automatically imported into Lightroom. So I hit the letter G to go to grid mode, and you will see that I have two versions of this. It's kept the original version right here, and it's got the new version right there. So that is one of the awesome things about sending stuff from Lightroom into Photoshop. It keeps both versions in there. It keeps your pictures organized and everything. I love it. Okay. So now, if you are still continuing on with my class, you can go on to the next video. Thanks.